like I told you, I brought the computer. Okay, I see that the the logo is big and our pictures are small. If I zoom to 100%, let me zoom to less. I don't know. Let's see what it is now.
All right, well, let me go. I'm going
back to. Well, oh, okay, here it is. Zoom to, let's see, 75 now. Trying to zoom to the left. No. It didn't zoom correct. Window. Let me see it. Zoom to. Geez. I'm playing with that. It's not. Muted. Huh. Zoom to. Scale to fit. Okay.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and get going.
Okay.
All right, good morning, everybody. This is Adjusters247.com's News and Views for Claims Professionals weekly webinar, and we're going to be talking a little bit about what we covered in this last week's podcast, and any discussion that that you might want to hear us talk about, and any suggestions that you might have, feel free to bring that up as well. I'm going to go through the agenda here in just a second, but we're going to have our training this week on handling antiques, fine arts, and collectibles with PJ Zadok of the Fine Arts Insurance Consultants. He's going to be sharing some time with us, and we're going to be going over his website at FAIC, and so I want to just make everybody aware of that. But for our agenda for today, again, thank you for spending your Saturday morning with us. We have a lot of people that are joining us today, and I appreciate you taking time out of your schedule to be part of things. We're going to just do a brief overview of Adjusters247.com. I'm going to explain to you a little bit about our podcast and the things that we do in it. I'm also going to show you how you can listen to and download the podcast and all the other things that we do to stay in touch with our listeners, including our blog posts and our social media involvement. Also, I'm going to go over all the ways that you can get in touch with us, including emailing requests for information. As I said, then we're going to have a training segment with PJ, who's kind enough to share some time with us today, and then once we get done with reviewing everything that PJ is going to share with us, we're going to open things up for a question and answer period and an open discussion of anything that you want to talk about, especially the material that we go over concerning fine arts, antiques, and collectibles. Also, you have a question box or a question mark on your screen that you can type in questions as we go through things. I do monitor that as we are progressing through the webinar, and I try to address those questions as we're going through the material. But if you have any questions, feel free to go and type it into the box, or at the end of the webinar and the material that we're going to present, I will open up the lines so that you can go ahead and ask your questions, and we can have a discussion about that. But again, I appreciate everybody being here today. There's quite a few people here, and I'm really pleased that you're able to spend some time of your day with us and as we go over things. First of all, I want to start off with an overview of Adjusters247.com and what we do and why we do it. And basically, we're dedicated to providing claims professionals the information that they need to become more efficient and proficient. We believe that a well-trained claims professional is going to increase their QA scores, lower their cycle times, and overall improve customer service, not just for the client, but also for the insured. And that's what we all should have as our main goal as claims professionals is the customer service aspect of it. And we definitely believe in my 32 years of experience, both in the field and as a manager, as a team lead, as a firm principal. The one thing that I always strive to focus on is the educational aspect of what we do for a living, and that's why we settled on the name Adjusters247, because in our mind you're an adjuster 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, whether you're working the 9 to 5 or you're working a CAT or you're working in any element in the insurance claims business. It's something that you always have to strive to get better at and stay informed about, and that's why we developed Adjusters 24/7 to help in that regard. And we also believe that regardless of your position or your level of experience, the material that we discuss in each podcast will help us all to be better in our everyday lives. And I'm going to go through the format of the segments that we use in every podcast and all the materials that we do. But we believe that, in addition to the daily podcast and the weekly training webinar, we also provide a weekly newsletter, daily blog posts to distribute the information, and all of that can be found on our website. If you haven't spent any time on our website, this is what it looks like in our homepage. When you pull up the website, there's a lot of information available right there on the homepage and in the different tabs of our website. But from the website, you get a little bit of idea of what we do and how we do things, and you also can sign up for not just this webinar, but you can click the button to download or read the latest newsletter that we have. You can also click from the home page to send us an email. There's also a contact form at the bottom of the page, but you can also connect with us on any of the social media avenues that we use right from our home page as well, and we subscribe to just about all of them. And also from here, you can download our latest edition of the podcast or be taken to a library which has all of them. There's also a schedule of upcoming events that's on the homepage, and again, a question box or a comment box is right there for you to utilize as well. Working across the tabs, again, I'm not going to read all the information to you, but if you go to the About Pay tab, it's going to give you a little bit of information about what we do at Adjusters247.com. There also is my favorite tab here is the Media Resources tab, because at this tab alone, you'll be able to get not only copies of our past webinars that we have, and they're all stored here for you to go back and listen to and watch, but you can also get every one of our podcasts are listed here through iTunes. You can get our latest podcast. You can just listen to it, or you can download it so you can listen to it at your leisure. But the availability is there on our media resources page for you to go and do that. Also, every day I send out a blog post when the material is available, and you can get all of those blog posts as well right here from our media resources page. And I'll go over this here a little bit more as we get into the webinar today. Also, we have important links that are listed here. PJ's Fine Arts Insurance Consultants is here to go to his webpage. You just have to click on this link. The button will take you straight to his webpage. If you ever have a need for any of their services, and we'll be talking about those in just a little bit. And then the Adjusters247.com blog is the last tab I want to talk about. And here you can go and pull up our latest blog and all the ones that are from in the past. And what we do is we make sure that I put the show notes into everything that is in here that we discussed. And also, this is yesterday's blog note that I posted, and it also has all the information on the blog post as well, kind of like the homepage, set up kind of like the homepage to be able to access all the information that you would need right from our blog posts that you will receive every day. And that way you can stay informed and up to date on everything that we have available for you resource-wise. And if you ever have a question about anything, just about all of our pages, if not all of our pages, have a contact box and where you can make suggestions for future topics, for future podcasts, or you can let me know if there's any suggestions that you have. We definitely are, a work in progress, and we want to make Adjusters247.com what you want it to be, and we want to present a material that is interesting to you and what's going to make your job easier as a claims professional. So make sure that you communicate with us, and at the end of the webinar, I'll give you all the contact information for us, but most of the information is either going to be on our webpage or in our blog posts, and you can access that at any time. The material that we strive to provide to you is based on basically our format for the podcast, which we format everything in a very thorough way to go and try to be a little bit of everything for everybody. We start off with an introduction every day with the show's guest list. PJ's been kind enough to be a guest a couple of times on our podcast, and we have various guests throughout the week dealing with different industries and part of the claims process. And then we move straight into a severe weather update that we put storm reports together from around the country and see where the action is and what we need to be prepared for concerning severe weather. Then we move into our storm tips and our catastrophe operations segment, where we discuss current deployments and we offer pre-storm and post-storm reports and tips so that people who maybe not have ever been in a catastrophe situation before will be able to learn from our experiences. And when we do have severe weather, or we have a hurricane or anything where a big deployment has been ordered, we will have reports from people that are already in those areas, so that we can get tips out on lodging availability, different, get the lay of the land without even being in that area. We have people that are going to be reporting from the field wherever a catastrophe occurs, and that way we can make sure that everybody has the information that they need to deploy safely and not run into a situation like I have in the past, where I had to sleep in a truck for 2 weeks because there was no lodging available, and basically living off of Red Cross meals. And we want to make sure that everybody is prepared for that as possible before they get into a bad situation. Then we move into the claims industry news, which is basically a discussion of job opportunities that are out there, both on the daily side and on the catastrophe side. We also talk about any industry-related topics, and it varies from day to day based on whatever the hot button issues are of the day. And then from there, we move into our Adjusting 101 segment. That's where we offer guidance to our newer adjusters, or as a refresher for those that may not have been out in the field for a while. There's a lot of adjusters that really haven't worked since the last major hurricanes that we had back in 04 and 05, but they're licensed, they've been keeping up with their CEs, but a lot of things have changed since the last time they were out in the field, and we use this segment for not just the new adjusters. We keep the information kind of basic, 101 type information, and then we move into our seasoned adjuster segment, where we discuss policies, procedures, and technology issues for the adjusters that have been in the field for a while, like myself, because I've been in the business, like I said, 32 years, and I learn something new every day in this business, and it's because I chose to become a student of it. And things are always changing in this business, and we just need to make sure that our seasoned adjusters are getting the information that they need to be able to not get left behind. And then we move into our time management and organizational tips and tricks. It's geared towards the management and the staff. We focus on not only time management and organizational management, but stress management as well, wellness, health issues in the workplace, so that we can all kind of learn how to manage these different stressors. And I offer different articles that I get and that I think would be helpful, and we use that segment for that information as well. Then we move into what we call our reality check segment, which is where we share the successes and the setbacks that are all part of this business. And we do it in a way that, whether it's my personal stories or other seasoned adjusters that contribute to it as well, we do this so that we can all learn from the life lessons that we all have gone through. And it's a very interesting segment, because you never know where we're going to go with it, and usually it's pretty comical, but most of the times it's informative, and that's what we shoot for in all of our podcasts, is getting the information out to everybody in an informative way, where it's pertinent to what's going on and you can use it in your everyday life. And then in our show ending, we discuss any upcoming events and the certification classes that we have. And then we share all of the social media and ways to contact us at Adjusters247.com. Also, during that ending, we go over any questions that we've received through the many ways that there are to contact us. And then we preview the next day's podcast agenda and the upcoming week's webinar. Like we talked about yesterday, with PJ going to be joining us and getting some suggestions on that topic as well. And now, once we have the podcast produced, then we upload it to our hosting site, and within minutes, our RSS feed sends the show to iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, TuneIn, SoundCloud. We are on just about every major distribution site that there is out there. And if you subscribe to the RSS feed, you'll get it immediately. Once we have that all produced and everything is all uploaded, then I send out a blog post right after that production is completed and everything's available. That's when I send out our daily blog post, letting you know that it is completed, that things are available for you to see, and that way you can go either to our website or to any of those distribution sites, and you're able to download or listen to the podcast for that day. And keep in mind, each one of those blog posts has a show note attached to it with everything that we covered in that podcast, so that you will be able to see, there may be something that you're really interested in, and you just want to tune in for that bit of information, or you may want to tune in for all of it, which I suggest, because even if you're a newer claims professional, listening to what the seasoned adjuster segments are just going to expose you to that vocabulary and get you in the frame of mind to where, when you do come across those things later on in your career, you'll already have a little bit of familiarity with that topic, and it won't be so Greek to you at that point. We then send everything to our social media sites, which includes Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Google, plus YouTube and several others. All, like I showed you, all of the major social media sites we share our information with every day. But always, emails and phone calls from claim professionals needing guidance always take a top priority, and our team is ready to respond to those immediately, and we provide feedback immediately to any inquiry that we have. And like I said, we want to make sure that we are meeting the needs that you may have. So we're always looking for your suggestions, and we welcome any comments and feedback that we might get from you. Now, by now, you should have a pretty good idea of what Adjusters247.com actually is, and what we do and how we do it. You also should have a pretty clear idea of how to listen to the podcast and how to find us. You should also understand how we communicate with the claims professionals we currently have. The future is looking really great for Adjusters 24/7, and we want to share all of that with you, because we need to expand the number of claims professionals we reach, that's our future immediate goal. We want to make sure that the word is out there. So if you have any claims professionals and associates that you're familiar with, feel free to forward any of our updates or direct them to our website so that they can sign up for our newsletter. They can go and join our team as well. And in addition to adding additional claims professionals, we're also adding more reference material to our website every day. I'm adding more material. We're also adding other claims-related sponsors to the family. You'll be hearing about that. And we have a major announcement that's planned within the next few weeks that is going to be exciting, and I can't wait for that to happen. We've got a lot of great things in the works, and I want everybody to be able to share in those things, and you'll be hearing more about this as we get closer to those things. Now, like I said, we're very fortunate today because we have, PJ Zadok with me with FAIC, which is Fine Arts Insurance Consultants, and we're going to be going over his website as we go through this segment. PJ, how you doing this morning?
Pretty good, sir.
That's awesome.
We're ready to cook.
Well, that's great. Well, I'm so happy that you were able to join us today, and I know you're out there in California, so it's still kind of early out there, but I really appreciate you making time for us and being able to share some of your insights with us.
No problem.
All right. Well, right now we're looking at Fine Arts Insurance Consultants website, and they can be found at fineartsinsuranceconsultants.com. Don't forget that there's a link on our important links page to this website, and it'll bring you directly there so that you can see exactly what we're going to be going over today. But PJ and the crew have been at this for a very long time. How many years altogether on the FAIC, PJ?
I've been about 30 years.
About 30 years at FAIC. Well, that's amazing. And with your experience in these fields, most of the times that, or in fact, all of the times that PJ and I have talked, I've always learned something from this man. He's got a great wealth of knowledge dealing with fine arts, collectibles, and antiques. And not only that, but if you're dealing with a fire or a water loss or a theft of any kind of fine art or collectible or antique or any type of product that has any kind of value to it at all, these are the guys that you need to call and get in touch with, and we're going to go over that. But for over 25 years, they've been in business helping insurance companies like Erie, Amica, Alliance, Allstate, CNA, Grange, all the top insurance companies in the country they have dealt with. And even though PJ's based out in LA, he has satellite offices all across the country and can cover anything from coast to coast. So make sure you get in touch with them if you have a need, and we're going to be going over a couple of things here during the webinar today, but PJ's always accessible and is always willing and able to help with any claims related question and anything dealing with any of these items. He's the expert that you need to go to for those things. Now also, we talked about the fine arts and the antiques and the collectibles, but they go through a lot of different things as well. And PJ, I'll give you a couple of seconds here to go and talk about some of the services that you're currently working on, and maybe an example or two of what you're doing at this point.
So as you mentioned, Tom, we covered about anything interesting and high-value items in the house or commercial, and which involves fine arts, antiques, and collectibles, etc. And in any situations like water damage, fire, theft, mysterious disappearance, and etc. And how we do this is very easy. Once you get on our website, there's a button for assignment form, and you fill up the assignment form. It's self-explanatory. And once you send it to us, we immediately send you an acknowledgement of opening a file, and if if there's any other important information, such documentation, photographs, and instructions, we would like to receive those. And once we receive those, we jump on it and so forth. The first step is we review the documentation, and the second step, we open some queues to the adjuster. What is he exactly that he needs? What are the instructions? If there is a PA involved, is there a lawyer involved? What's the situation with the insured? Is he incapacitated? Is somebody else is handling for him to claim? All this information is important when we start to handle that, and we go from there. Sometimes siblings handle claims. Sometimes good neighbors or friends or so that they handle the claim. So we need to get this information so we won't be in the dark. And we do this. We do this to make easy on ourselves, and easy on the insured, easy on the claimant, or what have you, or ever anybody who does. Sometimes we deal with SIU people, and they inform us who's the adjuster on that case. So we, based upon the experience in the past, that we dealt with so many claims in so many instances, we like to get as much as possible information so we won't be in the dark.
Right, and that's what I try to pass on to the adjusters that are out in the field, is that, you know, the assignment form looks simple enough, but it really is critical, probably the most critical piece, starting off at least, because all the information that you're going to need needs to be filled into some part of this form and sent to you so that you can go and start handling the claim effectively and make sure that you have all the information that you need and your people need to go and respond to that claim right from the minute that you receive it. What other documentation do you look for when the adjusters do send you these assignments?
Well, whatever the insurance provides, such appraisals, receipts, they call those forms certificates of authenticity, verification, merchants where they purchased, if they have. So those kind of documents that can shed light, additional light on the items of loss, I'm going to be showing today as a sample of a document and what we discovered about it. So that will be kind of an interesting exhibit that I'm going to share with you guys today.
Great, great. Well, like I said to everybody, you handle every type of item that of value, basically, is the best way I can think of, whether it's dealing with any type of fine arts or even sports memorabilia, books and manuscripts. these type of items, it's tough to find anybody that I know in my years of experience. I can remember back in Hurricane Andrew in 1992, I had a house right on the ocean down in Cutler Ridge in Miami, and there was so much artwork that was damaged, water damaged, and I didn't know who to call. I mean, this house had a 42-inch water line on the second floor, and everything was either damaged or destroyed, and I had to spend days looking for art experts and people that I could go and get some sort of an idea as to what I was dealing with. But now you have all of that stuff available right from your website, and all these people have to do is just sign the assignment to you, and you can go and start running with it. Is that correct?
Yes, yes, sir. Uh, in the past years, every adjuster that I spoke with, supervisor or manager, said to me, "Where were you 6 months ago?" Where were you 6 months ago? I could use you a year ago. I could use you 3 months ago. I said, well, we are here.
You've been there.
We are here. We are here. It's
You
not.
should have asked him, where were you? You know.
Yeah. So it is, and we find it sometimes because they're just so busy today, and they can't really share. Sometimes a colleague in their offices has the knowledge, has the information of ours, and he doesn't share to his counterpart, but he says, hey, Johnny, here's PJ Zadok that could help you.
Right, right. And word of mouth, I tell you what, you know, by working for and representing all of those different major insurance companies, you know, there should be a lot of people that are familiar with your work, and I know, especially out there in California, because I've worked out there so many times before, you know, your reputation is impeccable, and they actually you know, just look forward to you working with them because of the type of results that you get for them when you are handling a claim. Why don't you give an example of some of the claims that you are familiar with, that you've worked or are working, and if you need me to make you the presenter so we can see your computer screen, just let me know. Or if that, are you ready for that, PJ?
Yeah.
Okay, let me change.
I'm going to be talking about a couple of pictures, yes.
Okay, I'm going to go and change it right now.
Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay, there's a...
Yeah, you just need to click the OK on that, and we can see your screen at that point.
Okay, okay, like you, the presenter, go to?
Yes.
Okay, show my screen.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Right, so we both side by side.
Yep, and now I see your screen.
Okay. So we're working as we speak a multitude of claims, new ones and old ones, and I brought in an example, two exhibits of very interesting things. So they're both dealing with theft claims. And this was up in Northern California, and we got retained by the SIU, and it was very interesting how we got to them. The SIU person in Southern California gave our name to the SIU person up in San Jose, and we got the claim.
Awesome.
It was a theft of Chinese Oriental items.
Wow.
About $250,000.
Oh boy.
And we sent a examiner there, we had an interpreter, the SIU person. So we got in the house and so forth, and we talked about the items. They should had more items there to show us and so forth. And I'm going to show an item that she was asking about, if I'm not mistaken, about $1,800 for it.
Wow.
And this is the item. You guys can see this?
There's a little bit of a lag time, so let me give it a second.
Okay.
And see if it catches up.
Am I good showing it close to the camera, Tom?
Yeah. Yep, I see it. I see the item. Yes, sir.
Okay. So this was the item. The item was kind of what describe it more or less. It was a base, wooden base, and a glass cylindrical, about 2 inches in diameter, and inside there was a pearl sitting on a cushion, and on the pearl was like a drawing of a line.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, on top of it, I don't know if you noticed, let me show it again, right here.
Yes, sir.
It was a magnifying glass that when you look through, you will see the line drawn on the pearl.
Oh, I see. Wow.
Okay.
That's an interesting piece.
Yeah, very interesting. So we started to do research on that. So first she asked $1,800 for it, and we kind of had to go to several Chinese people, merchants, experts per se in that field, and they informed us that this is not an expensive item.
Uh-huh.
Nobody told us how much the item is.
Right.
So we kept doing research and so forth, and we bumped into this picture.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Mass-produced.
Mass-produced item. It's a gift item at the airport.
Nice.
And it goes for 18 to 20 bucks.
It's a lot big difference between that and 1,800, isn't there?
That I would say. So that was our experience with those items. We got to keep in mind, she had over 180 items.
Wow. And all that was a theft? Was that all a theft?
It was a theft.
Wow.
A theft plus vandalism. Apparently, the thieves damaged some stuff in the house too.
Oh boy. Wow, what a mess.
Yeah. So that is one of the fascinating that we dealt with this claim last year.
That's amazing. That's amazing. How did it finally end up with the remain? Did they ever make any kind of arrests, or was there anything that was ever proven as far as the theft was concerned?
We usually don't get involved in that segment because they keep to themselves.
Right. Not a problem.
They don't inform us. You know, from our point of view is to evaluate the damaged items.
Sure.
The damaged items, yeah. We don't get involved in police reports and this and that. Occasionally we get a police report to see if they informed or they submitted information to the police that deviates from the truth a little bit.
Right. Right.
You know.
Well, that was the reason I was asking that, is because I know in just about every theft loss that I've gotten involved in and investigated, There's always a little bit of exaggeration on the part of the insureds, and that separates that line that separates the exaggeration from flat out fraud can sometimes be very thin. And I know theft losses, especially dealing with fine arts and antiques and collectibles, we're dealing with about big ticket items most of the time. And so we need to make sure that we do our due diligence in documenting everything. You and I have already discussed in a couple of podcasts about appraisals and things that people present as documentation. And while we want to get all those and we want to pay attention to those, we also need to verify those. And you're the guy, and your people are the people to go and help in determining the actual value of what a piece would actually be. What else do you want to share with us today?
Well, another claim that it's in progress right now. It's also theft of 2 pieces of jewelry.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and it's written on a quote-unquote appraisal, what we call the boilerplate appraisal.
Uh-huh.
A boilerplate appraisal. And I want to show this to the audience. This one.
Okay, we got it.
You got it?
Yep.
Okay. Omitted here the names, for reasons that we don't have to explain.
Sure.
Okay. Here you see there demand and so forth. Okay, that's the original certificate. And I want to show another screen of the appraisal that you guys can see a little bit that raises suspicious to us.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody should get their opinion about it.
Uh-huh.
This is what, after we played with it on the computer and zoomed a little bit on that document, and take a look on this. Okay, concentrate on here.
Right.
You can
see. Wow.
You see here's some kind of a
it's been covered up. Yeah, it's been covered up and replaced with something different.
The greenish. Do you see the greenish?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it looks like it's been altered. Looks like it's been altered.
You got it. It's been altered.
Hmm.
We're dealing with this with an SIU person. Okay, and when we showed this to her, she said,
"Oh boy."
She says, PJ, that's right, we hire you, man.
Yeah.
and she so we requested original, because those are copies, of course.
Sure.
We requested the original document, but to our dismay, it wasn't available.
Oh, that's shocking, isn't it? That's shocking. It's amazing what people try to get away with, but and like you and I have talked about before, adjuster workload is so much right now. Companies are cutting back and they're adding that case log onto the adjusters that they keep, and instead of having a manageable desktop, a lot of these adjusters are just overwhelmed, and they don't have the time to go and spend researching, and most of them wouldn't understand anyway because it's such a specialty type item, of where they would even start to look to get the documentation that they need.
It's very, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead, PJ.
Oh, it's such a fine-tuning industry of this segment of claims, because assign a trademark or a number or a symbol or something, okay, could translate to tremendous monies, different monies.
Sure.
Different monies, okay? Different monies. You can even run into a trademark and look upon it. And you say, oh yeah, this is definitely Picasso, a trademark.
Sure.
Okay? However, if you don't know that that trademark is a forged trademark, you lose tremendous money. I mean, the carrier will spend a lot of money, unneeded money, unnecessary money, if they do not retain a expert that could help them to give them the true facts.
Sure. And we talked one time about the Rembrandts and the student of Rembrandt and the different variations of Rembrandt. And some people just see the name Rembrandt and they run with it as if it's a genuine item.
Right. So speaking of that, I wanted to mention to the audience that we're hoping in March we're going to launch CEs.
Awesome.
By the state of California, which would be good nationwide. And we talk about a specific claim as a case study of Rembrandt, on Rembrandt. However, not every Monday and Tuesday you run into Rembrandt. It would be nice.
Yeah, exactly.
It would be nice. But there's so many other items that tremendous differences. Like we dealt with not water damage or breakage of this young of 2 violins, and he asked each one like $15,000. Not
Oh
much.
my goodness! Oh
yeah,
my goodness.
$15,000 each. That's $30,000. Well. We had an opportunity to send a special delivery person to bring violins to us.
Mm-hmm.
And we looked on those and so forth and analyzed it, and they were worth less combined. It was about $3,000.
Oh my goodness! So instead of 30, they were actually worth $3,000 for both of them.
3,000.
Right. Oh my goodness.
Yes, 10% of the demand.
That's amazing. And that's where I'm showing your website again. You have the instruments, including, the violins and anything else that's of value. You and FAIC are the company that the adjusters need to go to whenever there is an item, any type of item that's of value, whether it's a fine art or a collectible or any type of antique. If you can't get documentation for it as an adjuster and handle it through the normal research that we do, then that needs to be documented by the use of an expert. And there's nobody that is more experienced than you, PJ, and the people there at FAIC. And I really want our adjusters to go and make sure that they keep your information handy and that they are able to get in touch with you right away. Now, the 800 number is 800-676-3222. And the email for FAIC is info@faic.biz. And like I said, everybody can go and access your website through our website at Adjusters247.com. And there they can go to our important links page, and your button is right there that they can click, and it'll take you right to this website that we're looking at right now.
Right. If you have a question, we're available 24/7. They can leave us a message in our message center. We'll be more than happy to tell them if they want to know what's the cost or how long it's going to take. It all depends what type of item they have. The cost, usually what we explain to the adjusters, to the GAs and RGAs, is that we always are happy to inform the adjuster and control the budget of the claim, so you won't get any kind of exorbitant price and say, I didn't expect that.
Yeah, I just got a question in our question box concerning fees and how those are, and if they do make an assignment, will they, because a lot of times with adjusters that are out in the field, you know, we don't have authority to go and hire an expert unless we know what that cost is going to be, and we get permission and get that authority from the carrier to go and hire an expert. We do it with water mitigation. We do it with a lot of other areas as well. When they send an assignment to you, or if they have something that might be in your wheelhouse, what is the way that they can get an estimate of what your services would be? Just through the email, or do you have any?
Well, they can even, through the email, number one, they can say, please touch base with us to discuss price. So we can talk to the guy. He's not in unreachable area.
Right.
Thanks to internet today, we can reach anybody.
Right. Right.
And tell them, so the first thing that we'd like to do is forward to us documentation, photos, and so forth, so we can understand how much time, what is involved, and what's involved in respect of research, manpower, traveling, and so forth.
Right. Right.
We have to take all those factors in consideration. So when we quote him a price to start, okay, we'll give him a more intelligent answer.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense, PJ. And again, I appreciate your insight on this item. You know, we're going to have you on, thank God, as a regular contributor to the webinars and to our podcast. And I appreciate all of your insight as always. And you know, just a little bit more information before we open it up for any other questions that people might have. This week on the podcast, we're going to go and discuss third-party liability, any CAT deployments that are out there. We also are going to be dealing with inland marine claims and theft losses and fire investigations this week, and the proper way to handle those. We also basically take requests. So anything that as an adjuster you're having in your day that you want to see us cover and get some additional information on, just send us a comment through the website, or you can send me an email directly, and we can go and make sure that we discuss that in our podcast. Now we have interviews planned with several guests this week, and those are going to be exciting for us as well. We also are trying to help Action Catastrophe Team expand by getting their message out to the carriers and adjusters. If you haven't been to Action Catastrophe Team's website yet, it's www.actioncatastropheteam.com, and while you're there, fill out the adjuster information sheet. They have a page there just for that. That way you can get added to their roster, and we can go and get you all the information that you need on that through our website as well. Now, next week's webinar, we're going to have a workshop on handling water damage claims, and that includes cabinets as well as contents items. That's what's on deck for next week. And now I'm going to open up the lines, unmute everybody. I don't have any further questions that came in through the box, so PJ, that's a good sign. Looks like we did a good job. But let me see if anybody has any questions at this point. If you do, don't be shy. Let us know anything you want to talk about. Last call. All right. Well, PJ, looks like we did a good job. No questions. And just to let everybody know, I really appreciate you joining us today. and spending your Saturday morning with us, at least a little bit of it. I know, PJ, I really appreciate you putting in the time, getting up early, and being with us today as well. Next week we will have that podcast every Saturday. We do the daily we do the daily podcast. We do the weekly training webinars every Saturday morning at 11 o'clock Eastern time. All the webinars get added to our media resources page. So if you can't join us to the live webinar, we will always be available there on the website for the previous weeks. But this has been very informative, and if you need to get in touch with me, I can be reached at tom@adjusters247.com, or my cell phone number is 754-208-7049. All of our business numbers are listed on the website, and you can reach us through those. But if you have a pressing issue, this is my personal cell phone. I have it with me all the time. You can always get in touch with me through it. And I really appreciate everybody being here today. Again, PJ, thank you so much. Adjusters, I can't impress upon you enough what a resource we have here. And please use their services. Send them that information sheet assignment, and that way they can help you with anything that you may run into dealing with fire or water or theft claim, dealing with any of those items. And their people over there will do everything they can to help you and make you look like a hero to your bosses by using an expert who really cares and knows what they're doing. PJ, I hope you have a great day and a great weekend. Thank you, everybody, for being with us, and we'll see you next week. Have a great day, and God bless.
Thank you, sir. Bye-bye. Have a good weekend, Tom.
You too, sir.